How's it going, guys? In today's video, I'm going to show you how to install the Zippy mods in the JK Design Orca V2 Balisong. The Zippy mods consist of these plugs that fit into the bore at the base of the handles, as well as inlays for the speed channels and inlays for the tang of the blade. So I've already done one side of the handle, speed channels, and bore plugs. We'll do the other side together. I'll start with the plugs. These are ovals. They're not perfect circles. So you're going to want to orient the long side of the oval with the long side of the bore and press it in. It's a tight fit, so you'll want to press it in from all of the edges and then from the middle. We'll do the other side. I'm orienting the oval to align with the oval and the handle. And I'm going to press it in. That was my knuckle cracking. You won't hear a pop when these press in. It's just a very tight friction fit. All right. Now, if you look lengthwise, you'll see these might bulge a little bit due to the compression of the material. If that bothers you, you can take a rigid metal object, in this case a 2mm hex key, and you can kind of just poke the bulging part in gently. This is purely a cosmetic preference. You do not have to do this, but you may wish to. Oops, I just applied too much force and popped it out, so we'll install these again. So let that be a lesson if you do use a rigid object to sort of push the folded compressed material in. Just be gentle. Don't try and push it through the handle like I just did. Anyway, that looks pretty good. So let's move on to installing the speed channel inlay. These speed channel inlays have two sides. There's going to be this sort of lineated side that's a little bit rougher, and then this textured side, or if you selected the smooth finish, it'll have a very smooth, glassy finish. But there's going to be a side that's aesthetically nice and a side that's aesthetically not so nice. So the side that's aesthetically not so nice is going to face into the handle, and we'll have the, in this case, textured side, or if you selected the glassy finish side, facing out. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to hook in this bottom area, and on one side we're just going to orient the inlay. So you can see it's the lip is caught on one side here, and I've got the corners aligned with the corners of the speed channel. And I'll just hold that in place with my right thumb. And then with my left thumb, I'm going to just use my fingernail to press in the edge until you kind of feel, you'll feel a click as it pops into place. And I'm just gonna use my fingernail along the whole length of the speed channel. I'm just gonna gently pop the other side into place, and you'll kind of feel it as the lip pops out through the other side. And once we get to about here, where the entire inlay is pressed in except the other edge, I'm gonna pop in the other side and then finish it up. And then you might need to smooth it out with your finger. And the inlay should be flush with the side of the handle. That looks good. So I've got both of the bore plugs installed, and I've got both of the speed channel inlays installed. Now let's finish it up and install the tang inlay. So the tang inlay consists of two pieces, and it's a ball socket construction, and they're going to pop together from opposite ends of the blade like that. So you'll see that there's the male side with the ball and then the female thicker side with a hole. We'll start with the female thicker side. And with the hole facing down and the aesthetically pleasing textured or smooth side facing out, I'm gonna gently push it in. I'm gonna try and spread the handles here so I have full access to this tang area. And I'm gonna try and kind of angle this so that the bottom long section, which is the most difficult to access, is kind of hooked in. And then I'm going to use my fingernail to press in the top section like so, and then I'm gonna use my finger to pop in the rest of it. And in this, I'm mostly successful. The bottom area is popping out a little bit. So I'm gonna take a thin, rigid metal object. You can use a paper clip, or in this case, a 1.5 millimeter Allen key, and I'm just gonna push that down. And you should feel it kind of snap into place. All right, so that looks perfectly flush with the blade. Everything's lined up, so let's do the other side. This is the male side, and I'm gonna repeat the procedure more or less. I'm gonna spread the handles out so I have access to this tang area. I'm gonna hook in the longer section closer to the pivots. And then I'm gonna push it in. I'm gonna actually brace the other side so I don't pop that out with my finger here, with my thumb, and I'm just gonna push this tang inlay in. And you're fighting friction, so it might take some force, so I'm gonna keep kind of gently pushing it from either side. And what you can see here is I've successfully got 3 of the corners, and the only other corner that's not popped in is the one closest to the pivots. This one is generally the most difficult to get, so I'm gonna repeat what I did before. I'm gonna brace the inlay from one side with my finger, and then use this Allen key to push the inlay into alignment. And you should feel a pop as the ball and socket connect. And I felt a pop, and I just have to finish getting the bottom section of this inlay into place. So I'm just gonna gently push it, gently nudge it into place all along the edges. And then I'm going to kind of wiggle. There's really no room to wiggle it, but I'm gonna just make sure everything's nice and aligned. And I'm gonna reassess that the inlay is perfectly flush with the blade. Which it is. So now that it passes my visual inspection and I'm satisfied, I don't need to push the inlay in anymore. We'll call it done. So you've just successfully installed speed channel inlays, tang inlays, and the bore plugs in the JK Design Orca V2. Thanks for watching.